Have you ever felt like something was off about a friend, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it? It's like having a pebble in your shoe, small, but constantly irritating. In today's video, we're going to explore the hidden signs that someone might not have your best interests at heart, and how the ancient wisdom of Stoicism can help you navigate these tricky waters. Imagine you're tending a garden of relationships. Some plants flourish, bringing beauty and nourishment to your life. But others, despite looking healthy on the surface, have roots that secretly drain the soil of nutrients. These are the fake friends, the hidden naysayers who, like weeds disguised as flowers, can choke the growth of genuine connections. Most people find it hard to admit when they don't like someone. Instead, they hide behind a facade of politeness, like a mask at a masquerade ball. If you don't learn to see through these masks, you might waste precious time and energy on people who don't truly value you. In this video, we'll uncover 7 key behaviors that reveal someone's hidden dislike. Think of these as secret messages written in invisible ink. We'll give you the special light, the lens of Stoic wisdom, to read these messages clearly. By the end, you'll be better equipped to protect your emotional well-being and cultivate relationships that truly matter. Number 1. The Jokers Gambit, when humor hides harm. Picture this. You're at a party, surrounded by friends. Suddenly, someone cracks a joke about your recent job loss. Everyone laughs, and you force a smile, but inside you feel a sting. This is the Joker's Gambit, using humor as a smokescreen for hostility. These jokes are like tiny paper cuts. One might not hurt much, but over time they accumulate, leaving you feeling wounded and insecure. The ancient Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius had some wisdom for dealing with such people. He said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In other words, don't stoop to their level. But how do you handle this without coming across as overly sensitive? Here's a trick. Respond with calm confidence. You might say, "I appreciate a good joke, but let's keep it respectful." To us, this is like holding up a mirror to their behavior. It reflects their rudeness back at them without lowering yourself to their level. Remember, true friends lift you up. They don't tear you down. If someone consistently jokes about your flaws or insecurities, it's like they're holding a magnifying glass to your imperfections while ignoring their own. A genuine friend is more like a telescope. They help you see the vast potential within yourself. Number 2. The poisoned praise. Compliments that sting. Imagine you've just finished a big project at work. A colleague comes up to you and says, "Wow, that's surprisingly good for someone like you." On the surface, it sounds like a compliment, but there's a hidden barb that leaves you feeling oddly deflated. Welcome to the world of backhanded compliments, or as we'll call it, the poisoned praise. These compliments are like a beautifully wrapped gift box that contains a live scorpion. The pretty packaging tricks you into opening it, only to be stung by the nasty surprise inside. The Roman Stoic philosopher Seneca had some insight into why people might do this. He said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor." In other words, people who give backhanded compliments are often trying to make themselves feel superior by subtly putting you down. So how do you handle these verbal Trojan horses? First, recognize them for what they are, attempts to undermine your confidence. Then, instead of accepting the compliment or getting defensive, try this approach. Acknowledge the positive part while gently challenging the negative implication. For example, if someone says, "You're pretty smart for someone who didn't go to college," you might respond, "Thank you for recognizing my intelligence. I've worked hard to educate myself in many ways." This response is like a martial arts move. You're using the energy of their attack to assert your own strength. Remember, genuine compliments should make you feel good about yourself, not confused or insecure. Real friends are like good mirrors. They reflect your true worth without distortion. Number 3. The invisible wall. Subtle exclusion tactics. Have you ever scrolled through social media only to discover that your friends had a get-together and forgot to invite you? This feeling of being left out is like standing outside a party, hearing the laughter and music, but finding the door locked when you try to join in. Welcome to the invisible wall, the subtle art of exclusion. This behavior is rarely accidental. It's more like a carefully choreographed dance where everyone knows the steps except you. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus offers some comforting wisdom here. He said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Applied to friendships, this means that the richness of your social life isn't about being included in every event, but about having a few genuine connections. But how do you deal with this without coming across as needy or confrontational? Here's a strategy. Instead of directly calling out the exclusion, create opportunities for inclusion. You might say something like, "I heard about the gathering last week. It sounds like it was fun. I'd love to help plan the next one." This approach is like planting a seed. You're creating potential for future inclusion without dwelling on past exclusion. If the pattern continues, it might be time to redirect your energy. Think of your time and attention as water in a desert. Don't waste it trying to nurture relationships that consistently leave you parched. Instead, focus on the oases in your life, the people who consistently include and value you. Remember, true friends are like the stars in your personal constellation. They might not be visible all the time, but you know they're always there, and when you do come together, it lights up your world. Number 4, the Time Mirage. Always busy, but only for you. Imagine you have a friend who always seems to have time for others, but whenever you need them, their calendar is suddenly full. This is the Time Mirage, an illusion of busyness that only appears when you're involved. This behavior is like a magic trick. Now you see their availability, now you don't. But unlike a magician's illusion, this disappearing act can leave real emotional scars. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius offers some perspective here. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In other words, while you can't control others' actions, you can control how you respond to them. So how do you handle this slippery situation? First, recognize that time is like currency. We spend it on what we value. If someone is consistently too busy for you, it's a clear message about where you stand in their priorities. Instead of confronting them directly, try this approach. Gradually reduce the effort you put into reaching out. This is like slowly turning down the volume on a radio. You're not abruptly cutting them off, but you're reducing your investment in the relationship. At the same time, start investing more in relationships where the effort is mutual. Think of your friendships like a garden. Some plants thrive with minimal attention, while others require constant care but bear little fruit. Focus your energy on nurturing the relationships that grow and flourish with mutual care. Remember, true friends are like reliable clocks. They make time for you, not excuses. Number 5, the touch taboo, when physical distance speaks volumes. Have you ever noticed someone who seems to go out of their way to avoid physical contact with you? Maybe they dodge handshakes, stiffen up during hugs, or maintain an unusually large personal space bubble around you. This is what we call the touch taboo, and it can be a silent but powerful indicator of discomfort or dislike. Physical touch, even in its most casual forms, is a fundamental human way of establishing trust and connection. When someone consistently avoids it, it's like they're putting up an invisible force field between you and them. The Stoic philosopher Seneca reminds us, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This means that while it's easy to imagine all sorts of reasons for this behavior, the reality might be simpler and less personal than we think. So how do you navigate this hands-off situation without making things awkward? Here's an approach. Create opportunities for natural, non-threatening contact. For example, if you're sitting next to this person, you might accidentally brush arms while reaching for something. Pay attention to their reaction. Are they apologetic and warm, or do they recoil? If the behavior persists, you might consider addressing it indirectly. You could say something like, "I've noticed you seem uncomfortable with handshakes. Is everything okay?" This opens the door for honest communication without putting them on the defensive. It's like extending an olive branch. You're offering peace and understanding, regardless of their response. Remember, everyone has different comfort levels with physical touch, and these can be influenced by cultural background, personal history, or even current health concerns. A true friend will be open to discussing these differences and finding a comfortable middle ground. In the end, genuine connections are less about physical proximity and more about emotional closeness. Like radio waves, true friendship can transmit warmth and support, even across a distance. Number 6. The fair weather phenomenon, present in sun, absent in rain. Picture this. You have a friend who's always around for the good times, parties, celebrations, successes. But when storm clouds gather in your life, they're suddenly nowhere to be found. This is the fair weather phenomenon, and it's a clear sign that someone might not be the true friend you thought they were. This behavior is like a solar-powered calculator. It works great when the sun is shining, but becomes useless when you need it most, in the dark. The Roman Stoic Seneca had some powerful words about friendship that apply here. He said, "One of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood." A friend who disappears when times get tough clearly doesn't understand the true nature of friendship. So how do you deal with these sunshine-only supporters? First, recognize them for what they are, casual acquaintances rather than true friends. This recognition, while potentially painful, is like removing a bandage. It might hurt for a moment, but it allows for proper healing. Next, focus on nurturing relationships that weather all seasons of your life. These all-weather friends are like sturdy umbrellas, reliable, supportive, and there to protect you when you need it most. Invest your time and energy in these relationships. When it comes to addressing the fair weather friends, you might say something like, "I've noticed you're often around for the good times, but seem to disappear when things get tough. True friendship means being there for each other in all circumstances. Can we talk about this?" This approach is like extending a hand to help them climb up to a higher level of friendship. Whether they take it or not is up to them. Remember, real friends are like the roots of a tree, invisible during sunny days, but vital for survival during the storms. Number 7. The whisper campaign. Gossip as a weapon. Imagine you walk into a room and conversation suddenly stops, or you overhear your name mentioned in hushed tones. You might be the target of the whisper campaign, a subtle but damaging form of social warfare, where gossip is the weapon of choice. Gossip is like a toxic gas, invisible but capable of poisoning relationships and reputations. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius had some insight into dealing with such people. He said, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that." In other words, don't stoop to their level by engaging in counter-gossip. So how do you combat this insidious behavior? First, remember that gossip says more about the gossipers than it does about you. People who engage in gossip are often trying to boost their own social status by tearing others down. It's like they're trying to climb a social ladder by stepping on others. One effective strategy is to confront the gossip head-on, but with grace. If you hear someone talking about you, approach them calmly and say something like, "I couldn't help overhearing my name. Is there something you'd like to discuss with me directly?" This approach is like turning on the lights in a dark room. It exposes the gossip and often stops it in its tracks. Another approach is to make it clear that you don't engage in or appreciate gossip. When someone tries to share gossip with you, you might say, "I'm not comfortable discussing people who aren't present to defend themselves." This sets a clear boundary and often earns respect. Remember, true friends are like good journalists. They verify information before spreading it, and they're more interested in understanding your story than in creating sensational headlines about you. Cultivating authentic connections. Recognizing these signs of hidden dislike is like learning to read a new language, the language of true friendship. It might be challenging at first, but with practice, you'll become fluent in distinguishing genuine connections from superficial ones. But identifying these behaviors is only the first step. The real power lies in how you respond to them. This is where Stoic wisdom truly shines. The Stoics teach us that while we can't control others' actions, we have complete control over our own reactions. Dealing with fake friends and hidden naysayers is like navigating a ship through rocky waters. The signs we've discussed are your map, showing you where the dangers lie. Stoic philosophy is your compass, guiding you towards calmer seas. Remember, every challenging relationship is an opportunity for growth. Each difficult interaction is a chance to practice patience, understanding, and self-respect. It's like weight training for your emotional muscles. The resistance helps you grow stronger. In our next video, Calm is Immense Power, Stoic Strength, we'll delve deeper into how to cultivate the inner resilience needed to face these challenges with unshakable composure. We'll explore how to transform these difficult experiences into stepping stones towards personal growth and stronger, more authentic relationships. Don't miss out on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos exploring Stoic wisdom. Remember, in the garden of life, it's quality, not quantity, that matters. Nurture the relationships that nurture you and have the courage to prune those that don't. Your peace of mind and personal growth are too important to be left in the hands of fake friends. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Stoic wisdom. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, stay Stoic.